Hello and welcome to the Willow Cove Crafts knitting and sewing channel. Hello and welcome to Willow Cove Crafts, my channel here on YouTube where I talk all about knitting and sewing and my other crafty endeavors. My name is Emily. Today is Sunday, June 18th, 2023, and I am coming to you from just outside of Madison in Verona, Wisconsin. Today's video is coming at you a little early. I'm toying around with the idea of going back to publishing every 2 or 3 weeks. I have been on more of a monthly schedule lately, but I really like the idea of publishing shorter videos a little bit more frequently and maybe including a little bit more vlog type footage. So hopefully you enjoyed that at the beginning. But it has been, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks since I last posted a project update, and yes, I really wanted to film one for you today. I really only have one project to show you today. Right after I filmed last time, I cast on something new. And that has been what I have been monogamously working on the last few weeks. So I don't have a lot of things to show you today, but I do have significant progress on my brand new cast on. I have cast on the Stria Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. My color palette that I chose is a direct copy of Casey from Youngfolk Knits. She made this cardigan, I want to say about a year and a half ago, and I thought her color palette was beautiful. The Stria Cardigan was one of those patterns that I really liked it. I thought I would probably make it, but it wasn't super high on my list. And then when I saw Casey's version, I really loved it and thought, yes, I need to make that, and I'm going to shamelessly copy. So I bought the yarn, and in the last couple weeks I have started it. So let me show you my progress. It doesn't actually look like that much, but the Stria Cardigan is in a half fisherman's rib, which if you've never done any sort of fisherman's rib variation, either the full or the half, It is a slow going stitch. It's quite a squishy fabric, and so you're doing a lot of knitting, and you know, you're getting a lot of nooks and crannies, you could say. And the fabric just grows lengthwise very, very slowly. To give you an idea, one of these purple stripes here is 10 rows. So obviously it's not quite as long as 10 rows of stockinette might be. So it is a slow going project, but having all of those little stripes in there really helps to break it up. So yes, a lot of knitting, even though lengthwise it's not super impressive at this point. But yes, so the Stria Cardigan is a top-down raglan style cardigan. It's got that fisherman's rib. It's got some fun, colorful stripes. And eventually it will have a knitted on neckband, ribbed cuffs and hems, and buttons, which I will still have to go pick out some fun buttons to put on this. So let me take a pause and go grab the yarn I'm using. Again, I cannot take credit for this color palette. It's not something I feel like I would normally have gone for, but again, I saw it on Casey's version and I just loved it and needed to have it in my life. So the yarn I am using is the yarn that is called for in the pattern, and that is Ampersand fibers in their Caslon fingering base, which is a 100% Corriedale yarn. And this is my main color. This is Pompadour 02. And then my contrasting colors, let's see if I can remember these. I have Oat 01. This is the same yarn I am using to knit my Moonset Tea by Ozetta. So it's nice to know. I'm definitely not going to use full skeins of all of the contrast colors. So if I run out of yarn for my Moonset Tea, this is my extra skein that I have just in case. And then I have Azurite 01. There's a fluff, which is this really nice ice blue. And then this is Vermilion 02. Kind of a mid-tone orangey red. And then lastly, we have Ochre 02. A nice mustard yellow. So the way that the colorways work for Ampersand fibers is she has, at least for the time being, I don't know if at some point she'll expand her color palette at all, but she has, I want to say 3 shades of every color. So like I said, this is Ochre 02. So she has an Ochre 01, Ochre 02, Ochre 03, and it goes from, they're kind of the same sort of color, just different levels of saturation. So it's really neat to kind of go look at her color palette and pick out the exact shade that you want for your project. And her whole color palette is completely gorgeous. I would knit a sweater out of any color she has in her line. They're all just perfect, like a little dusty, a little, you know, not, none of her colors are super like vibrant or bold. They have a like kind of an earthy quality to them. I really, really like the Ampersand fibers and encourage you to go check it out. I believe it's the house yarn for Shop La Mercerie. Did I say that right? Yes, Shop La Mercerie. That is a yarn shop. They have an online store, and I believe Ampersand fibers is exclusive to them. So definitely encourage you to go take a look. They have a fingering weight base and a DK weight base. And that is, like I said, all I have to show you today. This is all I've been working on. I haven't been the most active knitter lately. I've been really on a reading kick. I've been reading a lot of fantasy romance lately. I've posted a few pictures on Instagram that have my current books in them. Yes, currently I am reading Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarrow, and it's fantastic. Really, really recommend if you like fantasy. And I extra recommend if you like romance. So again, that's Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarrow. That's just an extra little recommendation for you. It's all over Instagram. It's a very popular book right now. But anyways, yes, over the next few weeks, I am hoping to get out another video at the end of June. We're about halfway through June at this point. I mentioned last time that I am traveling for most of July, so I thought I would take a few moments and tell you about that. I am taking 4 weeks off of work. I've been saving up my vacation time. It feels very luxurious to be able to take a month off of work. And I have a couple different plans for that month. So the first 2 weeks, I will be traveling to Greece with one of my friends. We're gonna go to Athens, Mykonos, Naxos, and Santorini, doing a little island hopping while we were there. So that's the first 2 weeks, and then I'll be home for a couple days, and then I am going to Seattle with another friend for a week. We're gonna spend some time in downtown Seattle, but the main kind of meat of our trip is to do some hiking in the surrounding mountains. So that'll be the third week, and then come home for a few days, and then the fourth week, which is more like 5 days, I will be going to the very tippy top of Wisconsin to a little town called Bayfield, and Bayfield's kind of the entrance to the Apostle Islands, which are these beautiful caves and rock formations at the very top of Wisconsin in Lake Superior. So yes, that is how I'm going to be spending my month of July. I'll be curious if any of you have ever been to any of those places and have any recommendations. Please let me know in the comments below. But I say all that because I specifically started a fingering weight sweater to take with me while I'm traveling. I will have little like pit stops at home, like I said, but I wanted a project that would kind of follow me throughout this month that I am away. And I think a fingering weight sweater really fits the bill. It compacts really nicely, and it's a lot of knitting. This is literally on size 2 needles. And like I mentioned, the fisherman rib just takes forever. So I wanted a nice long project to take with me while I'm on my trips. I don't typically do a ton of knitting while I'm on vacation. I tend to be pretty active. I like to, go sightseeing and, do all that stuff. I'm not much, I don't do a lot of relaxing on vacations, I suppose, which is like opposite of my normal life. But anyways, it is nice to have a project with you while you're on your trip, especially, that flight to Europe is quite long. But yes, I'm really hoping over the next few weeks to put another episode out before I leave. I really would like to get the sleeve separation on this sweater before I head out. And then, yeah, I'll just be able to knit pretty mindlessly on the body while I am traveling. So yes, again, please let me know what recommendations you have for any of those places that I mentioned, and I will plan to chat with you in a couple weeks. Bye, everyone.